Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more of a serious kind of video, and oh my gosh, it's here! Hey guys, Sidney Diongzon here. Don't worry, my iMac is totally fine. It didn't fall down to the floor and crashed. That was just a fun little sketch. But today is gonna be a fun video because I'm gonna show you my entire iMac Pro desktop setup. And a lot of you guys have asked me questions about how I set up my computer. And so I'm gonna go through that as well as answer some questions about some camera gear. So let's get to it. So first of all, let's address which kind of iMac Pro that I ended up getting. I ended up getting the base model iMac Pro because, well, I just thought it was time for me to upgrade to a bigger screen and to have a computer that can handle my current workflow. I mean, I'm producing 2 YouTube videos a week plus client work, plus I have a full-time job still, plus I have a family, so I don't have time to mess around with a slow computer. I need a fast computer that can work as fast as I can so I can put out videos as fast as possible. Sure, I probably could have maxed out a 5K iMac for a little bit cheaper, but I've tested that iMac and edited some 4K video, and still it was a bit choppy in the playback. Or this iMac, I'd play back 4K footage just fine. And so really the main reason why I got the iMac Pro is time. Oh, what, this? Well, see, my wife's British, and so drinking tea is kind of my thing now. The flower cup, that was my choice. All right, let's get to the questions. So first question is from Silas. Silas asks, which is more important for editing video, an SSD or more RAM? Really good question. I would say an SSD is more important because you can have as much RAM as you want, you can have the fastest processors in the world, but all of that is dependent on how fast the hard drive is. So anyway, that's my answer. Sorry it wasn't more technical. I'm not a very technical guy, but if I had to choose, I would say SSD. Next question is from San David, and he has 2 questions, cheater. First question is, how do you charge a client for video? And the second question is working for exposure a good idea or not? Really good questions. So for the first question, how do you charge a client? That's pretty easy. It depends on how much you want to pay yourself. You can pay yourself $20 an hour for a project, or $50 an hour for a project, or even $100 for a project if you're that good. Whatever that number is, that is going to be your hourly rate. Now, of course, there are day rates and half-day rates, but I've found that using an hourly rate is way more helpful, not only for a client, but also for yourself, so that you can calculate how much to charge a certain project based on what you want to pay yourself. So when I first started shooting weddings, I would charge my clients $500 for the whole day and for all the photos and all that stuff. But I came to realize very soon that I actually lost a lot of money by doing it that way. And so then I decided to use an hourly rate. And so I think I charged my clients, what was my daily rate? I think it was $50 an hour. And so here, let's do the math. So I'll put in $50 an hour. And so weddings typically are about, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours long. And so let's just say 12. So multiply it by 12. That's $600. And so that's my day rate for weddings. So now that you have that number, you kind of want to estimate how long it'll take you to finish the project. So if $600 was my day rate to just shoot the wedding, then I would multiply that by 3 to 5 because it would typically take me 3 to 5 days to finish the project. When I talk about days, I talk about the consecutive hours that you put in to edit and finalize and deliver the wedding, from editing, making the album or the DVD, etc., etc. So let's just multiply 600 by 5 days. So that's $3,000 alone. And so now we gotta think about additional costs. Am I gonna hire a second shooter? That would probably be like, what, $500? So now we're at $3,500. But do you work at home? Do you work in an office? Do you have to pay for the electricity if you do work in an office? What's the overhead gonna cost you? All that stuff you have to consider when you're charging a client. Now, I know that example was just for a wedding, but those same principles apply for pretty much any and every client work that you do. Basically, you just need to set a rate that's fair for you. So it could be $20 an hour, it could be $15 an hour, it could be $50 an hour, Whatever that number is, that's all dependent on you. Obviously, test it out, see if those numbers work with the clients in your specific location. I mean, if you live in LA or New York, you could probably charge a little bit more versus, you know, some town in the Midwest. So that's that question. The second part to your question is it a good idea to do work for exposure? Yeah. Totally. The entire game is getting yourself out there and letting people know about who you are. Obviously, don't keep doing it for free, just for exposure. You got to stop at some point, but getting yourself, your brand exposed to the world is always a good idea. So we're going to take a little break from the questions because I want to show you something really cool. So underneath my iMac Pro is a hard drive, but not just any other hard drive. It is a G Drive 12 terabyte Thunderbolt 3 hard drive. 12 terabytes? What in the world would you need 12 terabytes for? Easy. Storage. So when I had my MacBook Pro, obviously I'd be producing videos, but I would always save those videos, and I had to buy a bunch of hard drives to store each of my projects too. I was collecting a bunch of these hard drives and I was like, I can't keep doing this. I just need one single place to store all my old projects too, just one single place. And so I've discovered this guy and I love it so much. Now, even though this hard drive is 12 terabytes, I literally have 3 terabytes left of storage. And so I'll probably run out of storage by the end of this year or sometime next year. But the cool thing about this hard drive is that you can buy an additional hard drive to daisy chain it. So theoretically, you can daisy chain a bunch of hard drives together, but I don't see myself doing that. I'll probably buy another 12 terabyte hard drive or maybe a 10 terabyte. I haven't decided yet, but I love the fact that I can just daisy chain it to my current hard drive. Plus, it looks really cool. So right above my G Drive is this little USB-C hub right over here, which has a bunch of ports, and I absolutely love it. One of the things I don't like about iMacs is trying to guess where the SD card slot is so that you can put your SD card in, and it's like, oh, is it here? Oh no, that's the USB port. So again, for me, time is what matters most to me, and so even little things like having some sort of SD card slot in the front of a computer is so important. And so I found this guy. It is the Sidney aluminum Type-C clamp Hub Pro. So basically over here, it has an SD card slot, has a micro SD card slot, it has 3 USB ports and 1 USB Type-C port. I absolutely love this thing. I mean, I can put my SD card or micro SD card and just plug it into the slots. If I need to update the firmware of one of my gimbals or other accessories, I can just plug it into the USB port. And I love the fact that it just attaches to the bottom of my iMac. So it looks like it's part of the system. I absolutely love it. Okay, back to questions. So Talia asks, how did you get into YouTube? Well, I've always liked making videos, especially with my friends. And so when YouTube first came out, I was like, oh wow, that's a great place to show your work. I mean, the whole point of being a creator is to show your work. I mean, way before YouTube, I used to enter film festivals because it was a great way to get exposure for your films. And so when YouTube came out, it was pretty much a dream for all us filmmakers because it was a platform, a free platform to showcase our work. Okay, let's finish this off by giving you a tour for the rest of my iMac Pro desktop setup. On the back of my iMac Pro is a 12 South backpack. And basically what it is that it's a tray to place hard drives on. So here I have 2 hard drives. The first one is my media drive where I keep pending projects. I have an asset folder where I keep my fonts, my graphics, my sound effects, and a folder where I keep all my apps. The second hard drive is a time machine hard drive so that I can back up everything on my desktop, which is where I keep all my current projects, as well as back up the data on my media hard drive. So everything is all backed up. The hard drives that I use are the Seagate Backup Fast Plus, 4 sweet terabytes of goodness each. I didn't get a RAID system because for one, they're pretty pricey, and 2, I'm just not there yet. But this workflow is simple, it's clean, and works really well for me. Don't laugh at me, but underneath the center of my iMac is a super drive. Yes, a super drive. I'm currently trying to digitize all my past projects years and years ago that I've stored on DVDs and CDs. So I'm currently trying to put all that onto the G Drive, but I have a super drive. And that's pretty much it. That's my iMac Pro desktop setup. Oh man. So I'm gonna end the video right here, but if you have any questions about my desktop setup or the accessories that I use, then let me know in the comments below, or if you have questions about filmmaking or camera gear, let me know. I'd love to help you out. But happy Friday, it's the weekend. I've got some fun things that I've planned to film over the weekend that I can't wait to share with you guys. But do something awesome, shoot some amazing stories, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm doing a dance intro. What are you doing? I'm doing a dance intro. What do you expect?